We couldn't wait a moment longer. Here it is. We have feelings coming off of SummerSlam, and we simply must get them off our chests. And this is the place to do it. Welcome to another Notsam Wrestling emergency podcast. And when I say we, of course, Megan Morant is here also with feelings, yes?
Yes, lots of feelings.
I told her to bring her feelings, and I mean, I am so glad, Megan, that you bore witness to me in my state when the head of the table, the tribal chief, and we're being fun, but I had real emotions. My heart was racing. I couldn't believe it. I felt like you know those videos when you raise a lion cub, and then it gets to be a big lion, so you have to give it back into the jungle. And then years later, you see the owner go back into the jungle, and all these years later, the lion returns and remembers.
Are we going back to your Tiger King days?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, shoot.
And we're going back to my Joe Exotic days.
We might
when
have
I
to.
did, although I don't know if those tigers would have been that happy to see Joe Exotic.
No, but I love it. You're like, I couldn't believe it, yet you are one of the people who predicted this happening.
I did. Okay. Well, I mean, look, I predicted the whole show, but there's a big difference between thinking about something, talking about something, and seeing something in its full, glorious tribal chief context. I mean, because the intro, I don't think, just based on the sound,
yes,
we didn't exactly know what it was at first. Because as a matter of fact, you said, is this, because I had talked about other names that could be coming out, you know. Arn Anderson, first of all, I don't know if Arn Anderson is carrying a Glock. I don't know if he's going to come out and help out Cody Rhodes himself, right? He said there are some friends that are here to help, some you know and some you don't.
Yeah, in Roman's music, I don't typically think of the boom, boom right away. And that's what I heard. So I immediately looked at you and said, who is it? And then once we saw the head of the table, Tron, it sunk in.
That's what it was. I said, because I was looking, and I went, oh my God. Because on the video screen, on the guardrails, you could see past the ring apron, head of the. And I went, I know this ain't head of the class.
Nope.
I know. And then the music, and it was like that longer intro than usual.
I
and
love
the
that
audience
intro.
started going nuts because they saw the Tron, and we knew. But just because we hadn't experienced it ever before, we just knew what it would be like, and the sounds that those beautiful Cleveland people made when our tribal chief, our head of the table, the man who provides us with so much,
especially you and your family. Your family eats because of the tribal chief.
Do you understand? Every night before dinner, we thank the Lord, we thank my beautiful wife, and we thank our tribal chief, Roman Reigns.
And the thing is, you're not kidding.
For the meal that is in front of us. Of course I'm not kidding. Because he's done it. He's done it all. And I think that there has been this innate desire, right? That this bloodline story. And as a matter of fact, I hope you guys saw, I posted the interview that I did at the live Notsam Wrestling in Cleveland with Drew McIntyre on Thursday. And even Drew McIntyre, who's got a history with these bloodline folks, he said, you know, in talking about how deep the CM Punk Drew McIntyre story has gotten, and we'll talk about that the bloodline is what proved what wrestling can be. That there's 52 weeks a year of programming. And while that is a hellacious pace for anybody to keep, the benefit of that is that you can spend so much time digging deep into these characters, into these stories, into these methods, and it hadn't been done properly. It hadn't been done to the highest level until it was done with the bloodline. We'd had stories that lasted a couple months. We'd had stories that lasted a year. But never, I mean, people go like, well, what about Austin McMahon? And it's like, if you're really going to tell me that over the course of years, Austin versus McMahon was a truly cohesive story, like, you can't sit me down and tell me that story bit by bit by bit over the course of years, the way you can with the Bloodline. And I think that there was this appreciation that was building. And there was this awareness, at least I had it, but I guess I never had a problem voicing my appreciation for our tribal chief. You remember, you were there at WrestleMania when me and Lars from Rancid couldn't believe what we were seeing.
It's all still wild that one that happened, the whole thing. Like, it's wild that we got to see that main event at WrestleMania.
Yes.
But also that Lars was with. I mean, I still cannot believe it. You had me convinced that Roman was not losing the title.
I had me convinced that Roman was not losing the title.
So when Roman lost the title, I mean, I'm still processing the fact that The Undertaker was there.
Right.
And then Cody Rhodes' music is playing. I'm just in complete shock that this all had happened. But you are right about the Bloodline and what they did over their time. But the Bloodline story, Sam, it's still not over yet.
No. And this is what people, when Paul Heyman was talking about what inning they're in and this and that, it wasn't about the title reign. It's the story. This is still the same story. The story is bigger, just like it should be in professional wrestling. The story is bigger than any title reign, is bigger than any match, is bigger than any set. It's everything. The story is everything, and we get to this place where within the story, there is supposed to be this story of a bloodline that we didn't like. And in order for us not to like this bloodline, we have to believe that the story isn't as good anymore.
Yeah.
But that's what the story is.
I know. And, you started to go there, but as soon as Roman went away and as soon as Roman lost the title to Cody Rhodes, you got this appreciation from the fans.
Yeah.
The fans chanting week after week, "We want Roman." I mean, you saw on the Countdown show, it was echoing throughout Cleveland.
Yeah.
"We want Roman." There were signs throughout Cleveland Brown Stadium manifesting Roman Reigns' return. Thankfully, we got it. And I just have to say, he looked chiseled even through that T-shirt.
Remember that CGI statue that they used to show? I thought it was the statue. I couldn't believe that this is the real Roman Reigns. So I mean, obviously.
Is this going to go off the whole time?
Yes, of course. The siren stays. It's very, very important.
I just
yes,
want to make sure.
It's very important.
All right.
So, but the sound somehow disappears. It's amazing.
All right.
So, Roman obviously coming out gave me my heart's beating fast. I go, oh my God. We see the Tron. People are losing their minds. And then Roman just comes out with that. Hang on, I lost my headphones because I was getting so excited. Roman comes out with that OTC shirt, which I think Jackie on the post show said her guess was original tribal chief, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Like OG, OTC. I
can't think of anything else off the top of my head.
I can't either, but I still don't know what an MFT is. So,
No, me either. I don't know if we ever
clue.
will.
I don't
right?
think we will, but I saw those shirts on sale at the shop.
Yeah.
So I go, okay, and Roman is just walking out, and I love that he's this is the storyteller that Roman Reigns is. He performs at a heightened level, the likes of which we just don't see. That Roman doesn't come out and do wrestling stuff. Roman comes out and does this like character work. And there's so much.
It's the nuances to it as well.
So much nuance.
Right?
So much
Nothing is
nuance.
overdone.
No.
But it's done in the perfect way.
And it's interesting because, the whole bloodline started during the pandemic. And who knows how it would have gone if it wasn't in that era. But that era provided Roman Reigns this canvas in which he could use nuance because there was no crowd that was going to be yelling over him. There was no anything. So he could speak slowly, give his instructions the way they needed to be given. And all of us, and create this there's almost this Godfather, vibe about it, this aura. about it, you know? But he hasn't lost it. The fans came back. He doesn't lose it.
It's
He's
like
still
the subtleties, right?
Mhm.
Like his subtle movements, the way he'll squint an eye,
Right.
the way he turns his head.
right. And he tells the whole story without having a microphone.
Yeah.
So he comes out and like he's not like acknowledging the crowd. There's not that moment. Every wrestler does the moment where they go, I didn't think you guys would remember, but you remembered. I'm so happy you guys are cheering for me. You know, everybody does it, and I get it, you know? Wow, yeah. Even the final boss feels the goosebumps. Yeah. But Roman, that's not why he's there.
No?
He just walks right out.
Business.
He's got his trainers on. He's got his athletic pants on. He's got his T-shirt on.
T-shirt was probably a medium, though, right?
I mean, yeah, he's got this
himself
medium.
into great shape.
Oh, and it was tight.
Yeah.
It was tight, but I mean, it should be, you know? Look at that bod. So he just walks right out to the ring, and I think commentary's doing a great job. Michael Cole's asking what side's he on. Pat McAfee's talking about God knows what. And Corey Graves is saying, you know, oh, clearly he's going to take out Cody Rhodes. And that was a big question. We were even talking about it on this podcast. Like, there was a big part of me that was going like, man, you know, I want to see Roman back. I can't imagine Solo's going to win the title.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not ready to see. I don't want to see Roman help Cody.
Right.
Like, I don't.
We spent 2 years.
Right.
You know, watching them hate each other.
And what did Cody do? He took the
Roman's
title of Roman Reigns. You remember the A&E biography? Roman goes, without the title, you ain't going to have me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everything was about that title for him. But it goes back to the way Roman can tell a story with his body and with his face. When he goes in, and there's not even, he's already decided what he's going to do. He doesn't get in the ring and go, well, gee, golly, I don't know who I'm going to hit. This is really complicated.
Well, that's my family, and they're related to me. And
Right.
That's my arch nemesis. Like,
no,
he
says
knows.
that's the guy, because Roman is the same guy that mentally tortured Jey Uso. Roman is the same guy that left Jimmy Uso so terrified, he turned on him only to return with his tail between his legs, begging for forgiveness. This is Roman's table. And you can cheer or you can boo, but it's Roman's building that you're making those sounds in. So Roman shows up and he sees this cousin of his who has said he's the tribal chief, who has said Roman's not coming back, who has said if Roman has a problem with it, he'll have to come see me.
Who took out Paul Heyman.
The wise man. And that may be the worst sin of all. And then he said Roman was a weak leader, and that's why he left. Well, guess what? You called my name, and I appeared. I believe in Roman Reigns. And Roman just, boom, instantly takes out Solo Sikoa. Solo's out. And then he looks at Cody, and he gives him with just his face, I didn't do this for you, but it is what it is. I'm not here to touch you. And he leaves. He doesn't put Cody on top of Solo.
No
he
smile, not
no
happy
smile,
about
no.
it. No tip of the hat.
No,
No, you're welcome.
Right. No
Nothing.
mutual respect.
No.
No, like, you got me, No.
Here to handle business. This is what I had to do. I'm not thrilled about it, but
And
go ahead.
I'm not thrilled about it is right. There's almost this, like, reality check where he's looking in the ring, and he doesn't want to see Cody winning that title.
No.
He doesn't want to see Cody winning this match. He doesn't want to, but he knows the message needs to be sent to Solo Sikoa. So it is what it is, but there's a look on Roman's face, and it's not over the top. It's not a cartoon character. It's a human, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying, in my interpretation of it, and I study that man's face, and in my interpretation, I'm sensing I'm standing on business. I did what I had to do because that's what had to happen to Solo Sikoa. Make no mistake about it, Cody Rhodes is holding my title. Cody Rhodes is the champion of my ring. Like, Cody's got what's coming to him, but this is something I had to take care of tonight. And that's it. And he didn't stick around for adulation. He didn't stick around to wave to the fans, to be like, hey, how great is this, bro? He just did his business, made sure it was finished by standing in that aisleway, and then powdering when it was time to go.
And at the same time, Cody Rhodes didn't sit there with a big smile on his face. Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Roman, for helping me. He did what he had to do to Solo. He did the crossroads, looked Roman right in the eye when he did it.
Right.
And he won the match.
Right.
Was he celebrating and smiles and happy afterwards?
No. No, but it was like, yeah, I mean, this is Bloodline rules.
Yeah.
So the idea of accepting the fact that Roman interfered is, okay, it's Bloodline rules. Like, this is what this Solo asked for it. Solo asked for Bloodline rules. This is what happens. But ultimately, I'm not excited to see a friend, to your point. Here we are to like go, okay, and Roman, if you think we're not done, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
You think this is your title, come get it from me. And so now...
Here we go.
Here we go is right. Here we go is right. So let's go back to the beginning of the main event. Solo Sikoa versus Cody Rhodes. We had the entrance from Solo Sikoa. Mm-hmm. Came in by himself, but I think we all kind of knew that's because this is Bloodline rules, which was only made last night.
Yeah.
And I thought, obviously this Bloodline rules match is made to get to a place where you have Roman Reigns and you can, have a couple other elements thrown in there.
It's funny because the last time we got Bloodline rules, it was like, obviously the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And it really didn't occur to me that, Bloodline rules means anything goes for both parties.
I mean, same.
I'm at WrestleMania. And I'm like, wait a second. Cody could use help as well.
For me, I was always like, if they call it Bloodline rules, they should really just go, that means anything goes for us.
Yeah.
But you can't do that. Only us, because you're not in the Bloodline.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I thought. So then last night on SmackDown, they go Bloodline rules. I'm like, oh, well, Cody's got friends. I mean, I'm sure he's going to find people too. I instantly got smarter because I learned.
Yeah, that is smart.
I'm watching the product.
That is smart. And you got to watch the product, and speculate wildly.
Yeah.
I was more like, hey, I wish Cody would listen to my podcast, because for weeks I've been saying, Cody, don't get into a ring full of Samoans. Like, whatever you do, Cody Rhodes, don't get into a ring full of Samoans. And then he's like, well, what's the match stipulation that guarantees the most Samoans in a single ring? Bloodline rules. Hey, yeah, let's do that. If I was Cody and my challenger was like, well, then let's do Bloodline rules tomorrow, I'd be like, absolutely not. No. Why would I do that?
After what the Bloodline's done, right?
Yeah, there's too many. There's too many Samoans. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And you guys love beating me up and like injuring all my friends, so I'm not going to do that. But whatever. I mean, maybe Cody's got more guts than I do because he said yes. So Solo has his entrance by himself. I thought that Cody's pre-entrance was incredible. I loved it.
Great.
Starting on the bus, and I'm a dog person.
Yeah.
Like, I have a hardened, blackened heart and a soul that is impenetrable except for dog stuff, man. Dog stuff gets me. And when I saw Cody walking with Pharaoh, because I knew this is Pharaoh's last road trip.
It's funny because I knew from social media too.
Right.
And I watched the first part of the show at home, and then I drove over here to do the show with you. We watched the main event together. But I had said to my husband, I was like, this is Pharaoh's last show. He's like, who's Pharaoh?
It's his dog.
I was like, it's a big deal. This is Cody's best friend.
Yeah. I mean,
they've spent so much time on the road together.
I think that was like the first AEW show that Pharaoh was at. I mean, he's been there for everything, but unless that was all I don't remember. But I was like in that space where it was like, no, I just have some allergies. It's a bad pollen day. When I just saw him like walking with old Pharaoh, Pharaoh's going to start
like a man and his dog.
There's nothing like a man and his dog. And I try to tell the people around, I try to tell my wife, like, you have to understand that this is the best. But there will come a day where I'll be a mess like you've never seen me. There have been in my life a handful of days when I've been a mess that I would never show publicly. It's the dog day. You gotta kick out. You gotta get up. You gotta go on. So anyway, so I'm getting emotional seeing Pharaoh, right? Pharaoh and Cody take the walk, and I'm like, God, this is beautiful. And then Arn Anderson is around the corner, and I go, audibly, Arn! Like, I couldn't believe it. Arn Anderson. This is the guy who let Cody know that you got to have, you got to stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
Arn's going to pull out his Glock. So Arn is there, and I was so happy to see the enforcer, the master of the spine buster, talking to Cody and letting him know. I've spoken to, because Arn's always got things under control.
You still got friends.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You still have a lot of friends.
He said, you still got friends. Some of them you know, some of them you don't. So immediately, it's time for speculate wildly. I go, are we going to see Brock Lesnar? Are we going to see Jimmy Uso? Are we going to, you know what I mean?
I thought we were going to get Jimmy.
Well, I mean, but it's almost like if you're getting Roman,
Yeah.
save Jimmy.
Let him cook.
Right? Let him cook. Let him cook is right. I don't know where you heard that, but you're 100% right. So Arn makes sure he knows he's okay. I go, this is great. He takes off his track jacket. They put the nightmare jacket on him. I go, this is just such a cool experience, and it's making Cody look like $1 million bucks.
Took us there.
Yeah.
And I was a little concerned because with it being a stadium show with over 57,000 fans, there was no stage like there typically is. And there was a couple of moments where I was like, is this going to take away from some of those big entrances? And I think having the access to follow Cody from his bus all the way to his journey through Gorilla and then out to the crowd, that just added so much.
I mean, unbelievable. He walks through Gorilla. I love that Gorilla is no longer sacred, that we see it all the time. It's the best. I hope Mattel makes a little Gorilla position play set. I would go nuts for it.
Yeah.
So then Jason Baker is there to put the Cody mask on him. I mean,
love the Cody mask.
I saw, by the way, do you see all the digital department was there? Oh, Joey A with the sports was over there with his I'm at work blazer on. Everybody was there,
His I'm at work blazer.
yeah. Everybody was looking professional.
Yeah.
And Cody comes out. He's got the mask on. It's great. He does the entrance. We see the match. It's fantastic. And then the Bloodline rules start to kick in, and we know now Bloodline rules has a flow. Same thing we saw at WrestleMania, which is Act 1 is the match. Act 2 is the Bloodline ballyhoo, I call it. It's all this just stuff.
Yes.
Just stuff happening. Boo, yay, boo, yay. And then Act 3 is now it's time to get serious. So Act 1, we see a great contest between Solo Sikoa and Cody Rhodes. And I'm sitting there and people are hard on Solo Sikoa, I find, because he does his job, which is they're like, but wasn't it better when he was just the enforcer? And it's like,
but he's not the enforcer anymore.
But it's like, of course he was better when he was the enforcer. That's the whole point. If you saw him and you're like, oh, he's better as the tribal chief, then he wouldn't be the tribal chief that you want the real tribe. The idea is that you want the real tribal chief to come and take his throne back. He's the boy king.
He's the fake tribal chief.
Right.
He's the wannabe tribal chief.
It'd be like if you're watching Game of Thrones and you're just like, I just don't think Joffrey is likable. And it's like, yeah.
We want the real thing.
He's a heel. But what I am sitting here watching is wow, I'm watching this main event. And say what you want. Once we were there, Solo versus Cody felt like a main event.
Well, also, Solo hasn't been wrestling that long.
That's where I was going. 3 years ago, he's in NXT 2.0.
And they were saying during Solo's entrance how many people he's beaten in singles competition.
Hello, John Cena. Hello.
Yeah. But, I mean,
his
resume's been impressive, too. But he's improved each and every time.
But, yeah, I mean, the point is that, you're watching this and you're not going, oh, this is just some kid that was at the Performance Center 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be. It's the SummerSlam main event. It's the second biggest main event of the year.
Yeah.
And he's just, there, not with Roman, it's his match. And you're like, wow. Especially being we were introduced to him on NXT 2.0 at a time when people did not have a ton of faith in NXT 2.0. But if you watch SummerSlam, NXT 2.0 gave us Solo Sikoa. NXT 2.0 gave us Braun Breaker.
NXT 2.0 gave us Tiffany Stratton.
Yes! it's a pretty successful experiment when you really look at the landscape. And, you know, Trick Williams, I've heard, isn't too bad either.
Not bad.
So then Act 2 starts. Now we're in Bloodline Rules. Of course, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa come out. They're beating up Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes is starting to get the better, but not quite. Here comes Kevin Owens.
Oh, yep.
Kevin Owens first. Kevin Owens comes out. Boom, 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 boom. Randy Orton comes out. Let's even the odds. So we didn't know if KO and Randy Orton had survived everything they had gone through and were going to be able to be at SummerSlam. So here they are, and they're able to clear the field once more. Now, in the middle of all that, you do have to say that Solo Sikoa took a ton of finishers. Cody goes for the cover, kick out at 2. That's pretty good.
And then out of the corner of our eye, from the top rope, the Samoan werewolf.
Oh, I love him.
Jacob Fatu. He's been my favorite part of this new Bloodline.
The best.
And you told me before you arrived, you're going to like Jacob Fatu. And you were right. And every time I see him, I like him even more.
Right. You were like, oh, yeah, Tama Tonga's cool. And I'm like, Tama Tonga is cool. Jacob Fatu is different.
He is.
And he is, man. He is. And that's one of those universal things. So now it's Jacob, and he's taking on, he's helping Solo take out Cody Rhodes. He ends up going for the spot where he jumps from the ring to the table outside, smashes Cody through it, and he sells the leg. And I don't know, as of the time that we're recording this, if 2 things could have happened. One is great, and the second sucks.
Yeah.
I hope the second is not the case. And it got me very worried. Because right now, I mean, he's just won the tag team championship. He's got all the momentum in the world. And like you said, he just adds everything to this new Bloodline, does Jacob Fatu. But he grabs the leg, and the leg did hit the table on his way down. And he grabs the leg, and he tries to get himself up, but he doesn't get up. Now, either he's really injured, or he was just kind of selling in the moment. I really hope that that's what we saw. The only thing that gives me any hope for that is that everything timed out well after.
Yeah.
Like the fact they were able to get back into the ring, and then Cody and Solo came out. There's a perfect moment for Roman Reigns to come out. And part of me wonders, because as much as Solo having to pay for what he said about Roman is important, the Jacob Fatu Roman Reigns confrontation is going to be out of this world.
And we have to perhaps wait for that.
Right. And how do we wait for that unless Jacob Fatu is injured outside the ring? I'm hoping that's what we saw. And maybe I'm being optimistic, or maybe I'm being realistic. We don't know yet, but I'm very much hoping that that's what we saw. And if we did see it, it's very, very smart. Because if Jacob Fatu is able to just get in the ring, he should be able to stop Roman Reigns from doing that. And I've been talking about the fact that, like, for the Roman thing to work, it has to feel like he might not be able to beat this new Bloodline. And the only thing that makes it possible for Roman to have that doubt is Jacob.
Yeah, and really, right now, what the story is about right now was Roman and Solo. You know, this new tribal chief against the original tribal chief, Roman.
Right.
If we get Roman Jacob at this moment right now, that doesn't make sense just yet.
I agree. So we'll see, hopefully, but it was just, I mean, magnificent. I just loved it. Magnificent. Those are my feelings on it. I was so very excited.
Yeah. I mean, you said it before. We'd thought this was going to happen, but you can never, even if you think it, you can never match the emotion of when it actually does happen. And I love seeing Roman and the nuances, right?
Yeah.
And there has been something since he lost the title. I remember when he made his last entrance at WrestleMania, the last time we saw Roman before tonight.
Makes me so sad.
And there's a moment as he's walking towards that ring in Philadelphia where you said, I don't know if I appreciate it enough.
Yeah, I
said that.
Right. Like this moment when he's walking to WrestleMania and you're going, oh, wait. I know we want Cody to finish the story, but I'm not ready to say goodbye.
I don't know.
I'm not ready for this to end.
I mean, I know his entrance takes 10 minutes, but
It's a lot of time.
I'm not ready for I'm not ready for it to be over yet.
Well, on that note of, we all have these thoughts and then it comes boom crashing into, it's a reality. I feel like we got that as well with CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. As somebody who has been a huge fan of Drew McIntyre for a long time, obviously, as I said earlier, he was one of the guests at the live Notsam Wrestling podcast. The whole interview is already up. Hot Dog was putting the pedal to the metal, getting that edit done. So that's up on the Notsam Wrestling YouTube channel. If you haven't seen it yet, it's incredible. So to see him reach this place and finally get there is amazing. But also, 11, 12 years ago, CM Punk was my favorite wrestler. Straight up. He just like this is somebody who he was my guy.
Yeah. 2011
Money in the Bank, I was like, okay, maybe that's the greatest moment of my life. And luckily there have been other great moments since then.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that.
Right, but in that moment I go, this is amazing. How does it get any better? So to see him go like, okay, and I'm lucky that I got to see him wrestle Dominik Mysterio at Madison Square Garden during the holiday tour. So I got to see one of the 2 live event singles matches that he did. And I got to see him obviously compete at the Royal Rumble, but this is his first singles televised match back in
10.5 years.
10.5 years. First singles televised match of this run. Does it live up to the hype? What is an older, experienced, wiser, legend CM Punk? Where's he coming from? And can the emotion that this story requires and the emotion that this story has had in the talkie-talkie be translated physically? And man, if it wasn't one of the great storytelling matches, I don't know. I mean, if that's what you're into, it was just, I felt like stuff made so much sense. Mm-hmm. The emotions, like the emotionality of it being so high, was played upon within the match to the point that it was what caused mistakes to be made. I felt like Seth Rollins was used really well in the sense that, like, it wasn't, ooh, who's he going to pick? I turn on you and now I'm with you. It was, yeah, this complicates things. And it complicated things even more. Did it complicate things because he was shittier to one guy than he was to the other guy? Or was it because those guys had such ill feelings toward him as well as him to them that they made mistakes because of their emotional response to the referee? Like, the whole thing. So Seth comes out, and, you and I had speculated upon his wardrobe.
Yes.
His ensemble.
Yes.
Yes. Were you satisfied, first of all, with the referee's shirt?
I honestly liked Raw's outfit better.
Because of the turtleneck or the
puffy sleeves?
The puffy sleeves.
The puffy sleeves. Look, this outfit was great.
No, he had puffy sleeves on the ref robe.
Yeah. I liked the ref robe. I thought we were going to get shorts.
Maybe he didn't want to go too HBK.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I thought we were going to get the shorts. I did.
I mean,
I like the sparkly pants.
Sparkly like Jenkos.
Yeah.
Like sparkly like rave pants from like 2004.
It's just Monday was so good.
No, it was. It was high fashion.
It was.
But
this was great. Look, it's like making you pick your favorite kid. They were both wonderful outfits.
That's fair.
But Monday was more for me.
That is just like what having kids is like, by the way. That's the same exact. Yeah, it's a good. Yeah, same thing. Same thing. Yeah, I thought my favorite part of the ref shirt was the replacing the black stripes with the lace.
Okay, yeah.
I'd never seen a laced referee shirt before, so I thought that was really
classy.
I thought it was classy.
Yeah.
And pretty.
Yeah.
Really nice.
And I did like the bejeweled.
Yes.
The rhinestones.
The rhinestones.
Red rhinestones on the referee shirt as well.
I love that this match, because to me, an outdoor show it's the opening match, it's the main event, and it's what I have named the sunset match. which is the match that's just as it's getting dark outside, just as you can see that the sky is turning that navy blue as the entrances come out, and you realize that, like, the match starts and it's still kind of daylight, and by the time a winner is announced, it'll be dark. I just love that.
The sunset match.
And this was the sunset match. And I was like, and when they were coming out and the sky was still light, but it was getting darker, I was like, hell yes, dude. This is a perfect if it's not going to main event, this is a perfect sunset match. Drew comes out. He's looking like a sexy dragon himself with all that green and the scales and everything.
I love the green for Drew.
Yes. And then we hear Cult of Personality, and I'm like, man, it's really going to happen. This is so sick. CM Punk comes out, and I can already tell, because you can't see his tights because of the jacket, but I can already tell from the kick pads that he went back to the Bret Hart inspired gear. Now, he's done Bret Hart inspired gear before, but what was interesting about this Bret Hart inspired gear specifically is it was inspired by the gear that Bret wore at SummerSlam 97, which is the match that he had with The Undertaker for the world title with Shawn Michaels as the referee. What's more interesting about that, and I don't know if CM Punk would be thrilled about this because he loves Bret so much, but in this story, if anybody's Bret, it's Drew. So it's an interesting, like character-wise, Bret was more the sort of starting to lean heel, annoyed at the fact that he was doing what was right and telling the truth, but somehow he was still the villain.
I bet Punk would admit it.
I think he knows.
Yeah.
I think he knows. But it was really cool to see the I love the Bret gear. I love that means we're getting another.
There was a lot of talk of SummerSlam 97 leading into this
Sure.
matchup. And then on the countdown, they were doing the numbers of SummerSlam, and this was the 10th, I believe, special guest referee.
Wow.
Well, they said there were 9, so I assume this must be the 10th.
Yeah.
Unless they already factored in that this was the 9th.
Maybe.
But yeah.
Yeah. Man, I got excited too because that means we're going to get another CM Punk and Bret Hart gear action figure. So that's Bill McKenna's already working on it. I'm sure. I didn't talk to him, but I'm sure. And then so the match starts, and I thought Seth was great because the match starts and they start. I thought CM Punk looked great, by the way. I thought physically he was in
great shape,
really good shape. Yeah. And I think that was definitely a question that people had. I loved when Drew went for a cover, and Seth didn't even start the count. And then Seth goes, "You said you were going to kill him. Come on. What? You already go. He's still breathing. You said you were going to kill him."
Yeah, I also love when they get to the outside of the ring, Seth just has his feet up on the top rope. And he's
yeah.
I'm not going to count any of this.
I told you. I might not count. I'm not going to count.
Just do your thing out there.
Yeah.
Which I was thrilled about, right? We've wanted to see this for so long.
Right.
I don't want it to end in count out.
No.
Let him go.
No. And Seth, and there was that moment too where SummerSlam 97's end is Bret is arguing with Shawn, who's the referee, and The Undertaker, who's the WWE champion, is standing behind Bret. Bret's gonna hit Undertaker with a chair. Shawn takes the chair away from Bret. Bret spits in Shawn's face. And Bret can loogie. We know this. If we go all the way into November of 97, he's loogieing.
Speaking of loogieing, did you see Hawk Tuah Girl was at SummerSlam?
Yes, I did. I saw Rob V's Instagram.
Wow. Sorry, you just said loogie. I thought Hawk Tuah.
Well, I mean, how could
had
you
to
not?
let you know Hawk Tuah Girl was there.
I hope she's becoming a fan.
I think she should be.
And I'd like to say, if Hawk Tuah wants to be a part, she's on the podcast circuit now. If you'd like to come on the Notsam Wrestling podcast, we'll talk about Hawk, but Road Warrior Hawk. And no Tua, okay? What do we think, huh?
I think that's fair. So anyways, Bret Hart goes to loogie.
And he loogies at Shawn. Shawn gets spat in his face, and he swings the chair at Bret. Bret moves. Undertaker gets hit with the chair. Bret covers him.
And there was a moment like that.
And
in
Shawn
this
has to
matchup.
count, and that's how the finish was.
Yes.
So a lot of people thought, because Punk has done Punk and other people have done matches that really reflect and pay tribute to performances by Bret and other people before. And so I think that there was this feeling, especially from those of us that are so well versed in that part of wrestling, that, oh no, this is going to be the finish. And when it wasn't, as soon as Seth grabbed the chair, I was like, yep, this is it. They're doing the SummerSlam 97 finish. But they referenced it. It wasn't the finish. They didn't go there, and then they kept moving. So it was
Were you happy about it?
I was.
Okay.
Because it was almost like, if you know, you know. We did that for you, Sam.
Yep.
And all the other, little not Samsonites out there. But we're not a tribute show. We're doing new stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we get it. This is for you. Haha. Remember when? Now, let's continue on with the story that we're telling today. We see the bracelet come into play.
A lot.
Yeah.
Quite a bit throughout the match.
Because, and of course the bracelet is symbolic of everything, really.
A man and his dog.
Yeah.
And his wife.
Yeah. But, the dog's very important.
Extremely important.
Larry's over. Okay? You hear them chanting for Larry at the countdown?
Yeah.
Or the kickoff?
Always.
Larry. Always. So, CM Punk has the Anaconda Vice on Drew. Mm-hmm. Many people have gone out to the Anaconda Vice. That's submission finish. But he sees the bracelet while he's got it locked on, and he takes his eye off the prize, and he takes it off of Drew. And it's like, oh, you blew it. But he didn't blow it yet, because once he got it off Drew, the bracelet ends up on the ring mat. Seth picked it up. Referee's always supposed to pick up those objects. Maybe he should have kicked it outside the ring, but
he put it on.
He put it on. And now...
And Punk notices.
Well, Punk has him again. He has Drew again. He's about to hit him with the go to sleep. And it's the second time he's got Drew in the finish. And the bracelet comes into play. And he sees it on Seth's wrist. He takes Drew out of the go to sleep. And it's like, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing? You need the bracelet that bad? Like, don't worry about Seth.
It's the symbolism of
I
the
know.
bracelet, though. Because there were a few moments I'm like, Punk, it's a friendship bracelet. Let it go.
Yeah, of course. But it is the symbolism. And I think you're supposed to say that.
And
you're supposed to kind of agree. When Rollins is like...
And I'm wondering, how is this bracelet not broke yet?
Right. It's a good bracelet. Whoever made that bracelet.
I know.
Hell of a job. And you're supposed... And you kind of agree. Like Rollins is not a heel. When he goes, hey, everything's not about you, asshole. And it's like, we've all dealt with people like that.
Yeah.
And now that part of the story is being told. So, we get the ref bump. Seth goes down. Kick to the nards.
Low blow.
Low blow. Claymore. Seth's up.
Drew's yelling, Seth, Seth, Seth.
1, 2, 3. Drew McIntyre wins. And before he's done, he takes the bracelet off of CM Punk's wrist, puts it on his own, so we know that this is not done. And to me, I was surprised. I was talking to some people, and it was startling to me how many people thought that CM Punk was going to win. They said, well, CM Punk, it's his first match back. He didn't return to the WWE to lose. Like, he's going to win,
Drew had to win.
Drew had to win.
There was no other option.
And that's because you've now told a story that is like 8 months long. Mm-hmm. Did you tell that whole story for one match?
No.
If CM Punk wins, it's kind of the end of the story. And also, by the way, if CM Punk wins, Drew looks like a total schmuck. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? This whole story.
Well, and there were some concerns, right? With Seth freaking Rollins now being the special guest referee. It's like, oh, are we just using this as a bridge to get to Punk Rollins?
That was a concern, right?
Because I think they handled it so well.
I did too. Because we go, let's acknowledge that this is still a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it plays a part in here. It all plays parts, but yeah, Seth.
The focus was not shifted from Punk Drew to Punk Seth.
Right. Right.
Right. I don't want to be like, Seth called it down the middle. But,
right.
His role in the matchup, I thought, was perfectly played.
Yes, I thought so too, because it's like, did he put the bracelet on to mess with Punk? I don't think so, but I could see where Punk would have thought so.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? And it's
of course, because those two have a history.
Right.
And Punk knows he doesn't like him.
Hates him.
Yeah.
Hates. I hate you. I love when grown men tell each other, I hate you. It's such like a child's thing to do. No, I hate him. But it makes you feel. I'm glad they do it. It makes you feel. And I'm with you. Like, I feel like there's too much meat on the bone. Like, let's chew this bone and get all the Drew McIntyre meat off. And then we got a whole feast with Seth Rollins.
Yeah, there's plenty of time to get there.
Plenty of time. And clearly CM Punk is here for the long haul. I just thought, I always thought, even when Punk was in AEW, I was like, if it were me, I would use Punk however many times a year. Have him on TV as much as you want. Promos, stories, not matches. And have every CM Punk match be a big match.
And I know maybe this wasn't the initial plan. The injury certainly played a role. But, I mean, we got to experience so much of Punk, even when he wasn't able to wrestle.
And it shows you how much value that he has. Like,
so much.
That he's all part, and that you can...
You almost forgot that he was injured. I mean, you didn't, because he brought it up in every promo, but
you didn't feel like it was lacking.
Yeah, you wasn't like, oh, when's Punk gonna come back? He was there.
You didn't feel like, I guess this is a good substitute until he gets back. You're like, no, this is great.
This is it.
Just good TV.
We're building there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's gonna happen.
Right. So yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for the next one. We have a new world heavyweight champion, and it's not a Campeon anymore.
Nope.
Gunther is the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Gunther, who is a part of this story, said, I didn't even want to be here. Like, this wasn't my dream, which I believe it is his dream to become a professional wrestler, but that's true. This is a guy who for a long time was like, hey, NXT, hey, WWE, I don't want to move to America.
I'm all good here.
I'm good here.
Having a great time.
NXT UK.
This is great.
Rules. I'm good here. Don't even worry about me. I'll have great matches over here. We'll all have a great time. It'll be fine.
Yeah, that thing you got going on there in America, that's nice, but...
It's good for you.
But this is good for me.
This is good for me. I'm good right here. I love where I'm at. But things change. And we got this match. I feel like they did a really wonderful job of building Damian Priest on his way here, hyping up the doc that's coming out. And clearly to me, I did not think the Judgment Day was going to walk out of SummerSlam intact. I made that point clear on the podcast. You and I have talked about it before. Mm-hmm. But it's like, clearly, Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest were baby faces. And everybody else in that group were heels, right?
There was one shot. I don't know if you saw it. I think it may have been on the Countdown show, but I audibly laughed because I thought of you. But it was Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest walking. They're the Terror Twins. And right behind them was Carlito. And it was just
I love it.
Perfect.
I love it.
Because I was like, why is he there? But you know what? I like him there.
That's the point. That's the point. It's like,
so good.
How is Carlitos? What is? And he's like, yeah, you guys got big matches tonight, huh? And you're just like, yeah, dude. Like,
why is he here?
You guys must be nervous, no? Like, yeah, we are. It doesn't help that you bring it up. Okay. Oh, all right. Okay.
He's there for the group chat. He's there because there's a group chat that exists where they talk specifically about
There's two group chats.
Yeah.
One he's in, which isn't that entertaining, and one he's not, where they just talk about him,
so good.
Which is so entertaining. I love it. I love it so much. And I am interested to see whether what's left of the Judgment Day or the Terror Twins get custody of Carlito. Or if he tries to, float. Like, maybe he goes over to Priest and go, oh, can you believe what Finn Balor did? He's like, what are you doing here, dude? Then he goes, oh, okay, whatever. He's like, Dom, you and Liv, huh? That's cool. So, and we'll get, trust me, we'll get there. Don't worry, we'll get there. We see a lot in this match. We see blood coming from the chest of Gunther.
Oh, and then when he wiped the blood.
I think
the line was Gunter's a sicko by Michael Cole.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Because it's almost like he looked at the screen and realized there's blood on me. Yeah. I'm bleeding my own blood. Yeah. So, but Priest was able to put him in the Razor's Edge, South of Heaven. He did the whole deal. And Finn Balor comes out. Now, there, of course, been the altercation between Finn Balor and Damian Priest earlier in the night.
Yes. And
Damian Priest he crushed up. That's what we used to call it in public school. I'm going to crush up your shirt, is what they would say.
Crush up? That's when they grab you by the collar?
Yeah, they literally crush up your shirt. And it's just such a sign of disrespect because you can't get those wrinkles out. And so for the rest of the day, you're walking around school with a wrinkled shirt.
Everybody knows you got crushed up.
Everyone knows somebody crushed up your shirt. And it's like, you're kind of...
You learned that in the Bronx.
Yeah. And Westchester's not that far from the Bronx.
Everybody all the time is talking about how similar Westchester and the Bronx are.
Same.
Yeah.
We both go to Yankee games. It's the same.
Sure.
But this is also what I've been talking about this Damian Priest. Like, he crushed up Finn Balor's shirt, which you don't do to your boy. And he was throwing a fit because whatever, Dom did what Dom does. But like,
he's been a hater, as you've pointed out.
Exactly.
He has been a big time hater.
He's not a people person.
Ever since Rhea left.
It's like,
hater.
Sorry, Liv doesn't like you. Like, she likes Dom. Like, sorry, dude. All rise, I get it, but like, you don't have to like get mad because your boy has a couple girls knocking on his door and take it out on your other boy. That's not cool.
Let him live.
I know, that's not cool at all. I love Carlito so much. So, all's well, I guess, because the Judgment Day comes first, or whatever Finn Balor said. And he came to ringside. As
soon as he came, I raised an eyebrow.
I did more than that. I was watching with my wife. I was like, yeah, I think old Ferg over there is going to turn on Damian Priest tonight.
As soon as he came down, I said, oh, I see it now.
Yeah.
And, before this matchup, I did think Gunther was going to win.
Sure.
But I kept thinking, how is Priest going to come out of this and what's that going to look like?
Sure.
And I think this was like the perfect way to do it.
I would agree.
I thought Priest looked fantastic throughout the match.
Yep.
And now I'm wondering, oh man.
Right.
This is going to be unbelievable when we get to see Priest take on Finn Balor.
Yeah, we even got a moment of like, oh, I think Priest would have beaten Gunther.
Yeah.
Right? Except Finn Balor grabs Gunther's boot, puts it on the rope.
And turns
around, turns his back. I gotta fix these headphones again. Turns his back on Damian Priest. And he's got that face too. Does Finn Balor. He's got that like, you got it. Yeah. I wouldn't want to mess with that. No. So, and Damian Priest doesn't know what happened at first. Then he looks up at the screen. He realizes what's happened. He's very, very upset. Mm-hmm. Can't focus on the match anymore.
He's so upset with Finn Balor.
You think Gunther's got him because he's got him in that sleeper. And then Priest is able to roll through. And for a hot second, I was like, is he going to keep the title? And Finn Balor and Priest are going to have a rivalry over the title? Because that's something.
It is.
That's for sure something.
There was a moment I thought that.
Right.
But I couldn't imagine Gunther losing this match.
No.
It's Gunther.
Right. And then Damian Priest goes and wraps that big hand around the neck of Finn Balor before Gunther is, of course, able to drag him back in and put poor Damian Priest to sleep. And I think that you are right. It does end up well because I'm already having, visions of now that he's a true villain, the demon coming back, and Damian Priest versus the demon. It's so cool. There's a lot there. I think that to say that the Judgment Day is done is probably a reach because you've still got, out of a pretty large faction, one side that is clearly villains, one side that is clearly heroes.
And then Carlito. Don't forget about Carlito.
That's right. We thought we were going to get custody of Dominik. We're going to get custody of Carlito.
We could. Which one could be better, right?
That's exactly right. And then I also go, I think Gunther's going to have this title for a very long time.
I think he will as well.
Is there any... okay. And now I go... As much as I'm sure that we're going to get some Bloodline stuff, especially now more than ever.
We are getting Randy, right?
We've got to end it with Cody, you mean?
Well, we're going to get Gunther Randy because of what happened at King of the Ring.
Unless they just don't.
I mean, Triple H said we're going to get it.
He said
We're going to get it.
But I don't know when.
Neither. But he said we're going to get it.
He said we're going to get it. I don't know how you get there. They're on two separate brands, and one of them's already the champion. But he did say that.
I just want it.
I feel like now more than ever, I'm going, okay, spend the rest of this year doing your bloodline stuff, whatever you got to do. If Jey Uso wins the Royal Rumble
Okay.
and goes to WrestleMania to face Gunther
I would love it.
for the World Heavyweight Championship, you couldn't finally get to that culmination. I mean, Jey Uso versus Gunther, with Gunther saying, I beat you in the King of the Ring. I beat you when I was Intercontinental Champion. What makes you think? And Jey just like having to once again find main event Jey Uso. And maybe there's a new camaraderie with Roman Reigns.
I like this because it means Gunther stays heel, which I thought we were potentially going to get a babyface Gunther, especially going to Berlin in just 4 weeks, which he will be a babyface in Berlin.
In Berlin.
We know that. But I thought there was a chance of getting a babyface Gunther at some point. But there's nobody who's more over as a babyface than Jey Uso.
Nobody. I mean, I think that Gunther is where he's at for the foreseeable for now. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a great thing. I think that that's perfect. But yeah, I love Gunther as champion. I think that there's a whole world of possibilities coming from that. We also have a new women's world champion in Nia Jax. Not something that I was surprised by.
WWE women's champion. Women's world, we have the same.
Oh, yeah. Women's world. I reversed the two.
All right.
100%. Yeah. I thought Bayley's gear was especially Macho Man Randy Savage inspired with the elbow drop and everything. So, the match comes down to the Money in the Bank cash-in.
When her music hit and they said, it's Tiffy time, there was a moment where I was like, oh no, because I don't want Tiffany to cash in right now.
Yes, but, so I said, oh no, well, there's a couple of things. Number one, I was like, any Money in the Bank winner that thinks SummerSlam is a good time to do it, with the longest IOA known to man. Like, even if you think now, you're not going to get to the ring for another 25 minutes.
Yeah.
So you better not even worry about it. So that's what I was thinking as she was going to the ring. Like, she should never have chosen now. I also was like, she's not going to cash in because she just got this new briefcase.
She just got it.
It just went up on Shop.
I know. She just got it. And then I also really like this queen princess thing they have going on.
The dynamic.
Tiffany and Nia. I like their friendship. And I want to let that cook a little longer.
So
a lot longer. So when the music hit, I went, oh, no. And then I quickly realized, oh, no, Megan, this is part of that. They just got you for a quick sec right there.
Which is good. Yeah. Now, I'm of two schools of thought here, though. I don't like a lot of failed cash-ins.
No.
And even like, I'm going to cash in. Oh, didn't get to cash in.
This wasn't a failed cash-in, though.
This was a distraction to Bayley.
Correct.
Okay, that's the way I took it, too. And if that's the case, that's a fun use of the briefcase.
And it seemed planned. I mean, they both seemed to be on the same page.
Nia wasn't like, what are you doing here?
I gave this to you. You came out here to help me. Now I'm a champion and you're Miss Money in the Bank and we're going to rule SmackDown together.
Right. I did appreciate for Bayley's sake that it still took 3 Annihilators to finally end the title reign of Bayley. It'll be interesting to see what happens next for Bayley, though. Maybe a rematch in the short term, but like, I also don't know who the next challenger necessarily for Nia is. I mean, there's plenty of baby faces. Maybe this is why Bianca and Jade didn't win the tag team championship back and got jumped by the 3 European women. If it's because they're not going to break up because you want to have 2 baby faces. But either Bianca or Jade. I mean, we still need to get that big Jade-Nia Jax match that people have been clamoring for since the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Right?
We had that moment. And don't forget, Naomi's also on SmackDown.
Naomi. Yeah.
We could have something with Naomi.
That's true. And then, at some point, Blair Davenport, Isla Dawn. I mean, there are people.
Yeah, I know Chelsea Green is on the other side, but I'm always good for Chelsea Green against somebody, right?
Why not, right?
I like the little back and forth she had with Tiffany. It was cha-ching Chelsea against Tacky in the Bank, right? Or
Yeah.
Tacky Time. as she
Tacky
called her.
Time. Yes.
Tacky Time. So I'm here for that.
Yes. New Intercontinental Champion and Braun Breaker.
I think, speaking of people who are going to hold the title for a while, I think Braun's going to have that title for a little while.
Yeah, if you guys like title changes, Monday Night Raw is not going to be the show.
No.
It'll be the show for Joe Tessitore. That'll be good.
Yeah,
Which was a surprise.
I know, I was very surprised by
that they're making those switches, but I'm down for it.
SmackDown 5 weeks from Friday
Yeah.
goes to USA.
Yeah.
And Cole's going to head over there.
Yeah, and I'm assuming Pat will be with him, but who knows with Pat?
Who
he
knows?
comes, he goes, he's a special guy.
Very.
Yeah, he rules. He rules hard.
He had so many one-liners.
I mean, he's great. He's perfect. Like, he's so good.
There was one moment he was talking about, like, wiping your ass. I was like, Pat, what are you saying?
He said the S word.
Yeah.
Early.
He doesn't.
I was thinking about turning on the show and like so my kids could watch, and then he was like, he's a piece of shit. I was like, oh, leave it off for a little bit. So anyway, Braun Breaker wins the Intercontinental Championship. Loved it. I thought it was so great. I thought it was so definitive. I thought it was that moment where maybe Braun would have lost the match, but he saw it coming, so speared Sammy, which set him up for the big spear off the 2 ropes, which is like
from Money in the Bank.
Exactly.
And that's what we wanted to see.
It told the whole story, left nothing questioned. Braun is so special that I think it's going to be really fun to watch this, and it was really fun to see the Steiners in the luxury box.
That was fun.
Yeah, seeing Rick and Scott up there.
I liked the build up to this too. I mean, we had that awesome Braun promo on Raw, that sit down interview that he did, and then he was on Raw Talk briefly, but was like, I don't want to answer any questions.
He was great.
And then same thing with the Countdown show. Byron's trying to, I don't want to talk about it. Like, I really liked that shift, right? I said what I needed to say. Now it's time for the matchup. I thought he was presented really well, and I'm excited for his title run.
And it played into this idea that, like, I'm not distracted by anything. No. Interviews, nothing. Like, this is what I'm here to do. I'm super excited for the title run. I think we're going to just see awesome ass matches, which is great.
I'm ready for it.
I'm ready for it, too.
NXT 2.0, baby.
Yeah.
Speaking of guys who haven't been there for too long, I mean, right? Like 2.5 years, Solo and Braun?
Yeah, it's pretty great. I mean, they come from rich wrestling heritage, but still really, really amazing. Of course, we have a new United States champion. LA Knight defeats Logan Paul. I thought he could have done a little more to the Prime van. Mm-hmm. I would have loved, he broke a couple windows. I would have loved maybe some spray paint, maybe pour some concrete in there, maybe, I don't know, do something to it. Maybe turn it into a Slim Jim truck, whatever you got to do. I guess Prime is a big sponsor, so they don't want to go too far, but whatever. I thought it was a fun little carryover from the night before. Logan coming out as announced from Cleveland, wearing Browns colors with MGK, and still gets booed.
I know.
That is a heel.
Right? In his hometown?
Yeah.
He was booed on SmackDown, booed even louder at SummerSlam.
When I did this live show at Hilarities in Cleveland, I go, how many of you guys are local? It's probably about 70% of the crowd. And there I go like, oh, man, you guys excited to see The Miz host SummerSlam? Yeah. You guys excited that Johnny Gargano is still, at the time, one half of the tag team champions? Yeah. I go, do you guys claim ownership of Logan Paul? Boo. No, boo.
It's truly unbelievable. I mean, we just talked about Gunther, one of the biggest heels in the company, will be a babyface when he goes to Berlin. Typically, when superstars go home, they are babyfaces. Not when you're Logan Paul.
Not when you're Logan Paul. But he's also not a champion anymore. Interesting run. I think
260 something days.
Yeah, with like 3 defenses.
Yeah.
Ultimately successful in the sense that the title went kind of everywhere, but I'm ready for a wrestler that's on SmackDown regularly to have that title, and to see Logan Paul can now get back to having like these kind of super fights, which I think are great.
And 1 year from LA Knight winning the Slim Jim Battle Royal to becoming United States champion.
That's the story. SummerSlam 2023 to SummerSlam 2024 is that real story of LA Knight finally coming into his own. Logan hits him with the brass knuckles, doesn't get all of it. BFT puts him out, and LA Knight is your new champion. Although, did it look to me like Logan slid his foot kind of close to being under one of the ropes?
Yeah, there was a moment I was like, is that it? Is that it?
Right.
And I don't know if that was a mistake. I don't know what happened there, but it looked fishy at the end.
I would want to see another angle of it.
We didn't get one.
No, because I don't think it's a story right now.
Yeah.
But everything counts. And I'm sure at some point it'll be revisited. And then...
I did pop big when Corey Graves related Machine Gun Kelly's body to Vic Joseph. I popped big for that.
And then, of course, Liv Morgan retains the WWE Women's World Championship. Incredible performance by Rhea Ripley, popping her shoulder back into place a couple of times in that match.
Yeah.
Really, really cool.
I mean, she was ramming the shoulder into the announce table. She was ramming it into the ring post. And, I didn't really think about Rhea's shoulder whatsoever leading up to this match. It's like, oh, she's back. She's cleared. She's
better
good.
now. Yeah.
And then during the countdown show, it kept coming up. It was like, oh, but, how good is she? And Jackie was saying, she did a personal best in the shoulder press this week. She was pressing 5 extra pounds, and there was the whole sit-down interview. So then suddenly I'm thinking about this shoulder. So during the match, she's like, it's out. And I get really, squeamish with that stuff. And you could see, I don't know, something was popping out there. So I do like that they played into the shoulder a lot.
Yeah, me too.
Because I was not thinking about it whatsoever leading in.
And it created a good weakness, I think.
Yeah.
For Rhea Ripley going in and doing all this. I also, dude, that... So...
What?
The... coming into this match, I go, Rhea and Dom being back together for the last 10 days or whatever it was. It's so people love it so much, and people were so happy that there was a part of me going, maybe you just leave it this way and let Dom be a babyface and let Dom and Rhea stay together. Because what you could do is you could have Finn Balor turn on both of them. And all these little clues that have been dropped about Liv and Finn Balor.
The room key.
Right. Maybe that was the plan the whole time. So literally up until, 3 days ago, I was like, yeah, Dom's going to turn on Rhea. But then last night I was like, you know what? Maybe Finn's going to turn on him. They're not going to get that much heat, are they?
Oh, I'm glad you said this because during Rhea's entrance, the music hits, Dom's next to her, and we're quickly reminded of this on-screen chemistry that is just so good. And we talked about Roman with the nuances and all the little things. With Rhea and Dom, it is the little things that make a really big thing that is Mommy and Dom.
Yeah.
So as they're doing their entrance together and Rhea's whispering in Dom's ear and the way they're looking at each other, the body language, I go, I kind of like Mommy and Dom too.
I know, and everybody does. And I'm also thinking the amount of heat that Dom and Rhea will get if they actually do this is and then they actually did it.
They had to, though, because it's even, during the announcement, Samantha Irvin's up there and she introduces Rhea Ripley and there's a huge pop. She introduces Liv Morgan. There's a pop.
Yeah.
People want to cheer for Liv.
And then now they can't. There's no choice. They simply cannot. So they do the thing where Rhea's going to use a chair and Dom takes the chair away from her and goes, you'll get disqualified. Don't do this. You won't win the title. And I go, okay, maybe they're going to still kind of push it along a little bit, not do anything so declarative and just say, well, Rhea misunderstood. Dom had her best interest. And then when Dom goes on the other side of the ring and he goes, looking at Liv, it's there, use it. Use it.
And then distracts the referee.
And I go, oh my God, they're really doing it. They're really doing it. Distracts the referee
She hits the Oblivion.
on the chair, and I go, oh my God, they just did it for real. Liv pins her.
And then the best part,
The makeout.
Dom, though, initiates, grabs Liv Morgan's chin
Yeah.
and lays one on her.
But you know what? You know what the thing is? Here's the thing about, like, these dudes. You can't keep a kept dude kept if he's not the type of dude that needs to be kept, okay? Every dude wants to feel like a man, okay? And as exciting as it is to be with Rhea Ripley, she likes to, like, treat Dom like a boy. She said, I'm not yours, you're mine. Come on. And Dom even posted something on his Instagram about being mommy's bitch or something. It was crazy talk, right?
Yeah.
But when a woman, like,
Why are you doing the Carlito voice? When a woman.
because it's cool. When a woman like Liv Morgan reminds you,
When she showed us what kind of woman she is.
you bet she did.
We saw.
And when she says that you are a gorgeous man, there's just she treats Dominik like a man. And Dominik knows she wants me to just plant one on her. And when he does, you saw a different side of Dominik. You never saw Dominik be this physical force, this domineering, this real show of brute male sexuality. I mean, Megan, be honest. Did you see Dominik in a different light?
You had to.
Yes. Yes.
And then he's flipping off the crowd.
That's right. Because he's a man. He's been to jail. Okay? He's been in the clink.
Well, now I mean, I cannot wait for Raw.
Whoa.
Because I have a lot of questions like, how long has this been? I mean, we've watched, from our point of view, how long this has been going on. But like, what were the conversations like behind the scenes? Are we going to get the moment where we've been waiting for it, where Dom says, I lied?
Dom, you said you're going to be by my side. I lied.
We need it.
Look, he cheated a little bit. He stole someone's heart.
Yep.
He's going to have to lie to fulfill the prophecy. Man. So, Liv has taken everything. I mean,
The revenge tour is over.
yeah, unless she just wants to rub it in, and she might. It's fun being a winner.
Yeah.
I've heard. I don't know for sure.
I mean, it's probably fun having someone else's man, right?
He chose Liv.
He did.
Muy sucio.
Do you think it was a mistake? You don't have to answer.
So tough. So difficult.
There were moments during the match where I thought, is it going to happen?
Right. They look so happy together.
Well, and when Liv initially grabbed the chair, I said, oh, it's a chair. The chair has been involved in this since Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, going back to Becky and Liv, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's a chair. But Liv is grabbing the chair. She can't use a chair. I was like, how is this going to get over to Dom? How are we going to get there?
Oh, we got there.
We did.
Hey, man. He never said he wasn't dirty. He said he was dirty.
Dirty. Well, now he's daddy.
That's right. And you can go back to the Royal Rumble. The gear that Liv Morgan wore to the ring was modeled after who? Do you remember? It's okay if you don't.
I don't.
Christina Aguilera. From which video?
I was going to say, oops, I did it again, and that is not right because that's Britney.
That's Britney. From Dirty.
Wow.
Everything counts.
Wow.
Wild stuff, huh?
Full circle.
I just blew your mind.
You did.
Yep.
The revenge tour wasn't even a thing then.
There was no need for revenge.
But it was.
It was.
Well, there was need for revenge.
She was back then, I guess, at that point.
Yeah.
You know what? The revenge tour was absolutely a thing.
Yeah.
We just didn't know it yet.
It was always a thing.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as Liv got taken out, A revenge tour was a thing.
The plans began. Man, well, I thought it was such a fun show.
What are we going to get Monday?
I don't know. I mean, just that we had, well over an hour of feelings to unpack here because of how much happened on that show. I'll try to figure out Monday tomorrow when we meet for another Notsam Wrestling podcast. Megan, thank you for sharing your feelings with us.
Thank you, Sam, for having me.
Anytime on this emergency podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave comments if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast on Apple or Spotify, then leave a rating, leave a review. And we'll see you very, very soon for another episode of Notsam Wrestling.